Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Hayden?
What's up?
What's up, James?
Alan Z.
What's up, Jimmy?
Hey.
What's up, Mike D?
I am not a number.
What's up, Scott?
No matter what Moffat does, we still survive.
All right. So, how you doing, Jimmy? How are you?
All right, so far.
Very good.
Yeah,
So,
he's back. That's awesome.
I know. That's fantastic. So,
It's been a long time.
how you been? Everything okay?
So far, everything's okay. Still doing physical therapy, trying to get my walk back.
I hear you're in the theater, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we start?
No, I just finished a play, a Neil Simon play called The Good Doctor, based on the works of Chekhov, where I played 4 characters.
Awesome. That is so cool.
Nice.
And I also bought his book, so it's coming on July 1st. So I'm going to read it, and we're going to do a cast on it. So
Oh, okay. Full of typos.
don't worry about it. I got the paperback, so I'll have that July 1st, and we'll talk about that on the air. So I can't wait for that.
There is no hardback.
Yeah, that's okay.
And
I
Jimmy,
just said I didn't
Jimmy
want a
was
hardback.
in Jimmy was in Hitchcock's Third Man too recently, right?
It was in what?
Didn't you do the Third Man? Hitchcock's Third Man?
No, we did the 39 Steps.
39 Steps. That's right.
39 Steps. That was last year. I played 4 characters in that as well.
Oh, cool. That's cool, man.
4 characters in that, and 4 characters in Neil Simon's The Good Doctor, based on the works of Anton Chekhov.
Nice.
Sweet.
So now you're done with the run? You're not doing any plays at the
I'm
moment?
going to audition for Diary of Anne Frank, which will be in November. I'll audition for Anne Frank's father or Anne Frank's uncle.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool. That's
I'm gonna play Anne Frank. Would they consider?
I wanted to play a Nazi, but apparently there aren't any Nazis in the play. I wanted to play a Nazi or a Gestapo, because the Gestapo has great-looking uniforms.
Okay.
So is this are we doing a Whovians or an American show?
I'm sorry. Look, we haven't talked to him in a while, so I wanted to give him his moment and talk about all this cool stuff he's doing. So yes, we are doing the Real Whovians cast. So go ahead, Hayden. What do you have for the Christmas special?
Well, yes, we've got some Christmas special news coming from Doctor Who magazine. So good old Stephen Moffat has confirmed that the part of the regeneration we saw last episode is only the start and will actually be a part of the Christmas episode. Also, he has also confirmed that the Christmas special is all about the Doctor's final, rather reluctant capitulation to having to change. So it's going to be same as David Tennant, where I don't want to go. It's going to be that whole thing again. So we've got a quote from the finale. It's a quote from the Master talking to Missy. The Master says, "I'm assuming you're the next one along, yeah?" And Missy goes, "I think so."
Well, you're breaking up, Hayden. I didn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Repeat what you said.
Okay, so we've got an actual quote from the episode this week. The Master says to Missy, "I'm assuming you're the next one along, yeah?" And then Missy replies, "I think so. Bit hazy on the whole regeneration, I'm afraid." So that's all we're going to get about the Master's regeneration.
Oh.
We're going to get nothing. It's going to be a cop-out. That's a cop-out.
Wow.
This is a direct... This comes from Doctor Who magazine. I've got a little snippet in front of me. I'll share it with you. If I know how to share it.
Moffat did say that after John Sim may not be Missy, maybe one other one and then Missy.
Well, John Sim says in the episode, "I'm assuming you're the next one, yeah." And Missy goes, "Yeah, I think so."
Okay.
Are you sure she's not Ronnie?
Nah, it's pretty much just boring shit. Moffat can't really come up with a proper answer as to how it happened. But
Well, what about the rumor about the double regeneration and all that stuff?
nope, not happening. Not happening.
It's not happening?
Well, the
No.
double regeneration we probably saw was the thing with the snow and then the thing in the grass.
Is that
It's going to be a cop-out. It's going to be a cop-out again.
So what were you saying? This is like a cross between Time of the Doctor and Hellbent?
Hellbent. Yeah, it's going to be the disappointment of Hellbent meets the storyline of Time of the Doctor.
Really?
So how many years is he going to be defending this woman?
I don't know. If they're still on the Mondasian ship with the black hole, it could be hundreds of years because of how black hole and time works with light. So there you go. And it looks like Bill's going to survive, so that's going to be another cop-out. So we're going to get another character.
Hold up. Now, she turned into full Cyberman, so how's she going to come back?
Well, she's in the Christmas special photos for filming, so we know she's clearly coming back.
Minus the cyber outfit.
Well, I mean, why do they do that? We're not even having the Dr. Falls yet, and they leak pictures of Bill in the Christmas special. Does that make any sense?
It's going to be a simulation, I'm telling you. It's going to be a simulation again.
What?
Like Matrix.
Tells me that they don't have confidence of
Like
Dr.
Extremis?
Fall.
It's going to be Extremis again. It's going to be
my God.
Missy's test. Missy's test is a simulation.
Oh my God.
Wait, so the doctor sets that up?
The doctor set this whole thing up.
That's what it's really going to be, the Cybermen?
That's
really
what I think, because she's going to
No.
see the doctor regenerating, and it's going to be like, oh, doctor, then he's going to be like, just kidding.
Well,
Missy's
actually, there is a point to be made there, because remember we were wondering how come the doctor was able to perform his blindness in that episode.
Hold on. I can't hear you, Mikey, because somebody's moving something in the background. Is that you, Hayden?
No.
Let me just... All right, so again, Mikey. Yeah.
I was saying we were wondering why his blindness was miraculously cured in that one episode by the monks when they didn't have direct access to him.
Right.
You may want to ask James and Jimmy what they thought of the season. We haven't talked to them this season about their thoughts on that.
Yeah, Jimmy, what did you think of the season so far?
For Capaldi, it was probably his best season, but the season itself was overall so far a disappointment to me.
Yeah. What did you think of the pilot?
The pilot I didn't like mostly because I couldn't understand a word Bill said.
Didn't the pilot remind you of Bells of St. John when Clara encountered the spoonhead on the stairway, the girl, and she's repeating what she's saying? And same thing like Bill was talking to the puddle monster and she's repeating what she's saying. It was sort of like Moffat's own stories. He's copying off himself.
He's running out of ideas.
I had to watch it several times to understand a word she said. And they should know that. Now, in all the other episodes, I understood her, but in the first episode with her, I could not understand her at all. And they know that Doctor Who is now international, and that their actors and actresses should be understandable to people without having to use subtitles. But
I got to tell you, Mike even knows I had subtitles on.
I could not understand a word she was saying, unless she spoke one or two words. Other than that,
Yeah, I actually had subtitles on, Mike. We were talking about that time because some things with the audio, and I think me and Mike agree. Like they make the music louder than when they talk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have to put the subtitles on because you have to, like, if I'm watching on a laptop, it's a different story. But when I'm watching on a TV, the music is over blasting, and they are like, and I'm like, what the hell are they saying? So it's just they get the audio wrong on BBC America. So
yeah, and also she's talking real fast, at least in the first episode. And I don't know what her accent is. I don't know if it's Cockney or what, but it's so fast that I could not understand what she was saying.
Yeah, and sometimes Capaldi speaks kind of jumbled also with that thick accent.
Hmm.
Yeah. What did you think of, I mean, James, what did you think of the pilot? Because we didn't get your thoughts either.
Yeah, it was all right. And Bill, I'm saying,
Meh.
all black people get killed on Doctor Who.
Just a side note.
Danny Pink. That's Bill.
Right.
Just a side note. They've just also confirmed that the diner from the last Series 6 and Series 9 will not be in the Christmas special, so we will not be seeing Clara in the Christmas special.
Why didn't you film that?
They just said no diner will be shot for this season at all, or the Christmas
why did
special.
they spend money for the week to have the diner?
They said it's not happening. It was a lie. They said it's all just a rumor.
Yeah, I read that too. He's right.
All right. Smile. I'm gonna get everybody's quick reactions. We got Jimmy and we got James. So, what did you think of Smile, Jimmy? With the emoji robots.
Oh, the emoji robots. I thought that was not really realistic. That they would use emojis in the future. If it was I think it was the future. Yeah. It was a okay episode. But like I said, this season has been better for Capaldi, but the scripts have been weak. But at least there's no underlying theme where Bill is the center of the universe. The focus is now back on the Doctor.
Well, maybe James or Jimmy could explain. We were trying to figure out how was it that in the Monk trilogy that while the Doctor was away for months, that Missy was locked up in the cell, and yet she had no access to food nor a waste receptacle.
Well, remember when they locked Matt Smith up, he was locked up in that little cube for months and months at a time. I guess they don't need food if you're Time Lord. Because
hearts, they might be able to fast longer than humans can.
Yeah, but I'm saying the thing is, like, could they not have taken 30 seconds to put a throwaway line in there about that?
And just to add on to what you said, James, the Pandorica was designed to keep him alive. So
yeah, suspended animation that can put Amy to sleep. Yeah,
they may have, and it was just deleted out. We don't know.
Yeah.
We've seen the Doctor slow down his hearts in the Fifth Doctor era in an episode. But yeah, I agree. They need to explain how she was able to survive in some way, shape, or form.
That could lend credibility.
Lost line.
That could lend credibility to this idea about it being a simulation.
Yeah.
If everything's happening without any sort of context of time going on.
I mean, how else would you explain how the Doctor almost accidentally kills the human race in Smile? Like, when would he ever do that? Oh, I almost killed the human race. Oops. It's like, what are you talking about?
You guys,
or was he turned into the Valyard?
On previous podcasts, have you guys ever surmised that maybe that the Doctor's not on Earth but on Mondos the whole time? That this whole season he's been on Mondos and not on Earth.
We talked about that, but the only thing that it makes no sense is that the TARDIS would know that, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to know where it's going.
Yeah, well, the Doctor knows he's on Mondos too. The Doctor knows, the TARDIS knows, the audience just doesn't know until probably the finale.
Well, and that's why the TARDIS was acting kind of funky in a couple of those episodes where it was kind of fighting back from transporting away from wherever its location was at that particular time. Like when Nardole was trying to take it out of the lab, and there was another scene, I forget in which episode, but they were trying to it was kind of lagging, like it didn't want to take off.
Yeah, I think part of the three-parter, right?
Yeah, in one of those.
Yeah, but
in other words, the TARDIS. What?
I thought Mondos was destroyed.
There's still debate. The debate
was destroyed, but this could be a period before Mondos was destroyed. In the finale, it could very well be that Bill, as a Cyberman, is going to fight against the First Doctor.
And that's how the First Doctor starts his regeneration cycle.
Well, let me ask you a question. Could this ship have another ulterior motive? I mean, it's long enough, it's powerful enough. Could they try to do what the Daleks did and hawk like Mondas at a time, or move Mondas where it looks like Mondas is destroyed and just move it somewhere? Just like Gallifrey's moving Gallifrey to the Earth and the back, and Davros is moving all the planets.
Like
it's still a debate how they had it set up, whether whether this ship was taking time after it had been jettisoned, and this was one of the colony ships that they sent off.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Nothing can escape a black hole but this ship. So if they have that type of technology to escape a black hole,
it's got to be a Time Lord.
But couldn't they move Mondis or make it appear that Mondis was destroyed and move it to another location?
I
Well,
think
technically, they haven't escaped the black hole. They're stuck in the event horizon of the black hole.
Well, they're escaping it slowly, though. She did say that, Misty, that they are escaping it, but rather slowly.
On the top floor.
Yeah.
I think when the first Doctor encountered the Cybermen, William Hartnell, the actor, was ill, and he was off screen most of the time. So I think in the finale, this Capaldi's Doctor is going to fill in for the part where William Hartnell's Doctor wasn't around.
Oh, okay. Because if you remember, when he first came onto the scene and he met the military personnel, William Hartnell, he knew who the Cybermen were, even though nobody's ever seen the Cybermen before. Like, he had knowledge of it, maybe as a Time Lord. Right. So, but then again, it's like he had enough energy to get ahead of the young companions to get into the TARDIS to lock it out, but then he had just enough energy to open up the door, and then he fell down and regenerated. So his body was wearing thin, he said. It could be that he does get hurt in the Christmas special, and then he just starts off with the companions, but they don't know he's hurt, and that's why they'll try to explain it that way, I guess.
So that's why he's looking like John Pertwee when he falls out the TARDIS and start regenerating.
Well, I mean, William Hartnell's going to regenerate in the TARDIS. I mean, the first Doctor. I know he's played by David Bradley. Now, old Doc was talking to me about that, and he's asking me if they're going to dub that person's voice from the audios that talks from William Hartnell, because he says that he doesn't think that David Bradley can talk like William Hartnell. Like, that he needs to dub the voice or something. You think that's going to happen, Jimmy, or no?
I mean, they could always take the audio from the very first, from that episode and just replay it if they need to.
Because they need to have new dialogue with him and Capaldi. So that's the whole point, is that old Doc thinks they're going to get that actor from the Big Finish ones and just dub him over David Bradley. I mean, but I don't know about that.
I'm looking at the parallels right here, though.
Doc thinks he's going to do it in the Christmas special or in the finale?
Yeah, he thinks it's in. Well, he thinks it's in both. Like, if David Bradley appears as the first Doctor, that he thinks that they should dub his voice, because he doesn't think that David Bradley has the voice for the first Doctor.
Now, is Capaldi's last episode the finale, or is it the Christmas special?
It's Christmas
special.
Christmas special. So this could actually be continued in the Christmas special.
Yeah, like supposedly a rumor is that the first Doctor appears in the finale, which leads into the Christmas special, but I don't know. And then Moffat originally said that Capaldi still has to go to Gallifrey from the Day of the Doctor and do his thing, but now we're hearing otherwise. So I don't know what that's about.
So they're just going to leave that hanging out there that, you know, how he probably got called to join the rest of the Doctor to free Gallifrey, I mean.
They're going to just say it happened off camera, I guess. That he just went to the Day of the Doctor, and they don't explain anything. And all this stuff about Moffat saying, oh, maybe River's in the finale, maybe Clara's in the finale. I don't know. And it could be old junk. Like, none of that. Man.
And no Susan.
Just a red herring to get us to watch.
Yeah. But I would think he would pull all the stops out from the final episode of his, like Christmas. Don't you think, Mike D, he would, like, just give us everything, Moffat, or no?
I'm thinking of your question here. I was thinking about the whole simulation aspect of things, because it would kind of explain some of the anomalies within the series this season. Like him
referring to himself as Doctor Who and two, so
like him doing the regeneration when Bill thought she was going to shoot him and it was blanks, and he started to regenerate and he was like, "Oh, just kidding."
But that wasn't really regeneration energy, or was it? Because remember, you said that he possibly does that to cure his eyes, so that way they don't have control over him.
I don't believe I said that.
You didn't say that? Somebody said that.
No, we talked about that, but then we remember we debunked it because we said that his eyes are already cured, and that probably was regeneration energy because he was making a stupid joke. So it was like, He didn't use it to cure his eyes. They would have showed that if that was really what was going on.
No, what I'm saying is that even though the monks cured his eyesight, the monks could have the power to make him blind again. So maybe he just fixed whatever it was anyway on top of what they did, or not really.
Yeah, but they would have showed that, though. They would have made it a point to show, like, the regeneration energy going into his eyes or his eyes glowing.
There's no reason. It wasn't even... So that wasn't even a regeneration energy.
No, because he already had his sight back already.
Yeah, so it was just special effects.
Special effects. Okay.
There's nothing to fix because he already had his eyesight back.
So he just did special effects somehow.
Well, I noticed something about Peter Quality's run though lately. I don't know if it's just me. The Doctor's supposed to be the most cleverest man in the universe, but he gets himself in some of the stupidest situations. Now, if you're so clever, how you get yourself in stupid situations?
Yeah, we brought that up. He's putting his companion in direct danger.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go into the war with the villains and the Daleks, just to see if the Potomacs can follow us. Meanwhile, like, the villains are flying into the wall, like dying. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just keep going. It's like, why would you bring her here?
Could he have not stepped in? Could he have not stepped in?
Why was Bill scared of Missy? Because Bill's only encounter with Missy, she hasn't had that much encounters with Missy. So why is she so scared of Missy?
I don't know. She just talked to her.
That's why.
She just talked to her in the she just talked to her in that episode, the Pyramid at the End of the World, right? So
yeah,
she never saw Missy kill anyone. That was Clara, but she never saw Missy kill anyone.
Well, Lila Lane, she talked to her, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know why.
She really scares me. Why? What did she do that scared you?
Well, what happens to Nardole also?
Oh, the comic relief? Okay.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, they're going to kill him off.
Hopefully, he gets into the black hole, and we never see him again.
I don't think they're doing anything with him. I think he should be like, all right, Nardole's there, and Nardole's not there.
Oh, he had a shotgun or something. I seen a.
At the beginning of the episode, he came out of the TARDIS alone, so I'm assuming that Bill and Nardole are killed by the end of the finale. Maybe they come back in the Christmas special, but
don't you get the impression that BBC hired Matt Lucas and Moffat didn't want it, so he's not making him a big enough character, and he's just throwing him in there because he has to have him there, but he's not really doing anything with him because he didn't want to have him in there in the first place, possibly?
Who knows? They could make him head and shoulders again.
Because if you think about it, with Lucas being there, he needs to have extra plot holes.
I mean, it just
which he's creating with Arnold.
It seems to me that it seems to me like he's not writing him good at all. He's not having anybody write them.
You know what was weird about one of Nardole's lines in the last episode? He was like, "Oh, I should be blue again," and I was like, "Is this character going to become Dorian Maldivar?"
Well, that would be stupid.
I never thought of that.
That would explain how he could get beheaded and still survive.
Yeah.
And like, you know, because
young version of that.
We had an inkling that he knew the Doctor beforehand. You know, when the Doctor went to get him so that they can go to Demon's Run. When he said that last week, I was like, is he going to become this character? Because his character kind of matches up with Dorian, like what you would expect him to be if he was younger.
Yeah, Nardole made the comment he knows a lot of the Doctor's secrets too, and didn't he?
10% of it.
Doctor Who.
Yeah,
10% of the dark secrets.
I'll make sure. I'll help you keep them, of course.
10% of the dark secrets. Only 10%.
Well, and remember too, he said that he had quote unquote Wi-Fi when he was a head. So that would imply that he's some sort of robot, like we think Nardole is.
Well, listen, whatever way
that's what I'm expecting.
They could fix Dorian Moldavar, and if you had Dorian Moldavar, he would be better than Nardole anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they're the same character,
there's no way they're the same character. I don't, because you want to know why he was afraid of the Doctor, because when Matt Smith first appeared and needed his help. And he saw the blue box. And he said, "No, I don't want it, whatever."
Well, yeah, but we never got a backstory to him. Maybe this is his backstory.
So in other words, maybe he was Dorian and then he changed.
No, I'm saying he becomes Dorian. because this could be him from the past.
And then he becomes Dorian
And he
Moldavar?
becomes Dorian. Think about it. It would explain a lot how he knows the Doctor. Like Mike D just said, in that episode, he says, "So many secrets, Doctor. I'll help you keep them, of course." We never got an explanation as to why he got his head cut off, but he was still alive. And we never knew that he knew that. We never understood why he knew the Doctor beforehand. Now it's almost like, oh yeah, and he knew River.
Hold on. He got his head cut off on Demon's Run by the priest.
But that wouldn't add up because River got the vortex manipulator from Dorian Moldavar, and she had dealings with him as Dorian Moldavar. So I don't think they're the same person. It wouldn't make any sense because it wouldn't make any sense because if Dorian's after Nardal, then she would know.
It's a Stephen Moffat story.
She never said he wasn't.
What?
It's a Stephen Moffat story. You don't have to make sense.
Yeah, this is Stephen Moffat.
Right.
Remember, we had Clara being responsible for everything that happened with the Doctor, so why not have Nardal be the young?
Because wouldn't he retain? It's not like regeneration. Wouldn't he retain the same personality even if he switched bodies?
Well, think about it though. Like their personalities are somewhat similar.
Not really. I don't think it's in that sense.
Yeah.
You think so?
Think about it. Nardal's kind of like a shady character. You remember how he was talking about how he had all these past lives and he was talking about all his past girlfriends and stuff, and then Dorian is kind of a shady character that does all these dealings with River and Lord knows who else.
It seems like Dorian knows a lot more. Wait, 1 second. Nardal is like type of scaredy cat, like wanted to like run and not be part of the adventure, but Dorian seems to me like a nonchalant bullcrap.
Yeah, but remember Dorian didn't want to go? He was like, "No, don't take me."
No, but it just seems like I don't know. I just don't think that they're the same character. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same character either.
I just realized something here. Think about Dorian Moldavar, Dorian Gray. Remember what happened in the story of Dorian Gray?
That's just a name story. That's not necessarily.
What if they utilize the whole notion of Dorian Gray for Moldavar? So if Nardal is a younger Dorian, I'm saying if. Just like I don't think.
You think Moffat would be that brilliant though to do that? I mean, nobody. He's writing them like crap. Well, there'll be no interest in who Dorian is. No interest in who Nardal is anyway. I mean, it's just. There's one more episode left after the finale, and it looks like from the finale they're not even really building up Nardal either.
Well, I mean, obviously, if he dies, then we know for sure. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, what do you think, Mikey?
Moffat doesn't write complicated; he writes sloppy. So he wouldn't be like planning that on purpose. It would be something more like he would just throw in just to kind of make an excuse for something. But then he didn't do that with a bunch of stuff this series. So I think he starts strong, but he muddies the water with his writing, and he doesn't go back and tie up plot holes.
This is a proof check, basically, what he's not doing. He doesn't. It's like he starts off right, like Mike says. He starts off right, and then halfway through, he either forgets what he's written about, or he thinks nobody will notice if I take this little branch and.
Yeah, but if you really look at his stuff and his stories, and if you compare him to his other stories, he's constantly copying off of himself.
He is.
I mean, little things like the scene from Bells of St. John where Matt Smith comes out of the TARDIS with the Fez, collecting money so they can get breakfast, right? He repeated that with Missy, when Missy's collecting money in Death in Heaven, donation for breakfast or something, like stupid things like that. And the Spoonheads, bless you, Spoonheads repeating what Clara says, and the Puddle Monster repeating what Bill says. I mean, the girl who waited, like Monk was saying, right? Like Jimmy was saying about, I waited for you and you never came, just like Amy waited and she became older. I mean, he did, in The Lie of the Land, he repeated Forest of the Dead, which was when River Song had him chained up to the grate. And they changed the dialogue a little bit. They did Rings of Akatan, instead of the leaf, it was like Bill defeating it, and it was like closing time in a way like that, and it was like there was a whole bunch of episodes mixed together that Bill saved the day, and it was like Moffat was, I know even in the last episode, World Enough and Tournament, was like the empty child Dr. Dances, like that hospital with everybody in there. It's sort of also like the other thing. And also when Rory, they were in that, what was that thing with Rory and there was all these people in the hospital beds too?
It was with the pirate one, the Curse of the Black Spot.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's constantly copying off of himself and others. And he's not even realizing. And then it's like, oh, that's this episode. Oh, that's this episode. And it's like nothing original after one.
And plus, you got all these continuity errors also.
Oh, good Lord.
I think Moffat's talents really lie when he's only doing a couple of episodes, like he used to do with Russell T. Davis. I don't think he necessarily was like. I don't think he has. I don't want to say the talent, but I just don't think he has what it takes to be the showrunner. I think he has some good ideas here and there.
But he's been burnt out for like years.
Yeah,
because he's been copying off other people's work.
He's been concentrating more on Sherlock than anything else.
Yeah. What happened, Jimmy?
He's been concentrating on Sherlock more than anything else.
Definitely.
By the way, where are Missy and the Master's TARDISes?
They don't have it.
And how long has the Master been on Mondo's, the ship anyway? How long?
He hasn't had a TARDIS since the 8th Doctor, I think.
And Missy should still have the vortex manipulator. So that could explain how she got out of the vault. She got out of the vault, she ate something, came back. You know, he didn't even check her. You know, she has a vortex manipulator. Boom. That's
all well and good, but if you don't show the audience that, it's like,
well, shouldn't Clara? Here's the thing, right? Didn't she have the vortex manipulator, and then nobody said that she lost it? Like she gave it back. So shouldn't she have a vortex manipulator around her wrist too? I mean, I want to know about the Space Kmart that has all these vortex manipulators. Where like Captain Jack has one, River has one, Missy has one, Clara has one. How many people have this? So,
I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's too many vortex manipulators.
Well, if you listen to some of the earlier interviews with Moffat when he was like talking about how he came to be the showrunner, I remember him saying, "Oh, I just want to do a couple episodes here and there," and then they're like, "You want to be the showrunner?" And he was like, "I guess." It doesn't sound like he, you know. I don't think he ever thought that he was going to be running, you know, Doctor Who. I think maybe he just thought, do a couple episodes here and there. And now it's like, oh.
I mean, if you're going to be the showrunner, the main thing people want to see, bring back Susan. Let the Doctor interact with his granddaughter at least.
Yeah,
you know, let him catch up. Like, where you been?
That's what Capaldi wanted. Just like Mark Gatiss wanted to have the Ice Warriors years ago.
Yeah.
And he was he's like, could I my last episode be with the Ice Warriors, please? And it's like, all right.
And we had way too much Dalek.
Well, they constantly have that contract where they have to have the Daleks appear something. Even though people say that doesn't exist, it does exist. Because they have to lock them in that they have them. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, they want to do that. So. Hey, James.
What's up?
What's going on?
We got the twin James.
James X and James J.
I'm James 1. Put that way.
Oh, James. Oh, what's up, James?
Hey, James.
Well, we got three James in here, technically. Jimmy's
Yeah, technically.
Well, it is a very good name. Only given to those with high intellect.
Oh, I'm his regeneration.
All right, so there's no regenerations with Missy, huh? Or Masters? We don't know. I don't think we know, really. I don't think anybody knows.
They need to have a regeneration so that John Sims turns into Missy so she can be really confirmed as being the Master. I mean,
I would have just had him regenerate to Toby Jones. And then you'd be like, oh, the Dream Lord was the Master or something, you know, just so Matt Smith could have a Master, you know?
See, they dropped the ball on that one years ago.
I know. So.
Well, that was when Moffat said he wasn't going to have the Master during Smith's era.
I know, but at least Toby Jones was trying to help him a little bit. You got the inkling that the Dream Lord didn't really want him to lose, the Doctor, that he was kind of like a chess game, but he wanted the Doctor to win, you know? And he was real. He wasn't a hologram because he kind of controlled the TARDIS when they were frozen a little bit. So,
well, we had the voice of the TARDIS that never got explained either.
Yeah. And also, they never explained how they had enough energy to project Amy Pond in a Ganger form outside the universe.
Was that the Church of the Silence doing that, or what?
I don't know. They never really explained Medical Variant too much either. I mean, I don't know why she couldn't have had the monks and the Silence at the same time. That would have been unstoppable.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be going back and forth in the Doctor's timeline. I'm like, okay.
I mean, she worked for the Church to get powerful enough to do that, I guess. But then, how did she travel through time? You know?
Right.
And then when I was watching Bells of St. John the other day, again, I'm like, you know what? Maybe, what if, like, Missy was teamed with the Great Intelligence, and, like, this is all a plot for Clara to, you know, go through the Doctor's time stream, so that way, like, maybe they can do something with Gallifrey, where, you know, they take over Gallifrey through the Great Intelligence and through whatever programming they have in Clara. Because if you remember when she was in the internet, the Wi-Fi, they gave her a software patch where she became intelligent with the computer programs because she was done with the internet. She didn't know what that was. So, and they also said that, you know, whatever you if you take something extra out of there, they always want to take it back. Just like the Great Intelligence took the like it was a kid that woman was the leader, and then he took all her adulthood away, and she was a kid again. So. But, you know, they never really built up the Great Intelligence enough, or even have Missy to have, like, a crossover anyway. I mean, you know, you would think that somebody's behind all of it, you know, but I think somebody was behind Manic Bavarian, but you don't know who. You know, I thought it was going to be Omega, that for the longest time they were going to have Omega behind things, but no, we're not allowed to use him for Doctor Who, and he's going to be in the K9.
He's got that lame-ass K9 movie.
Yeah, Doctor Who can't use Omega. How stupid is that?
He's one of the principal Time Lords. Him, Rosalind, and the other. He's like the top 3 of the Time Lords. Like, okay.
What do you think, James S?
What about this theory?
I don't know. No, about anything about the finale we're gonna have. I mean, do you have any expectations?
I want it to be good, but Moffat has a track record of 0 out of 3. Oh no, 0 out of 4. No, 5 now. God, he's been around so long. Finales being good. Big Bang, not my cup of tea. The Series 6 one, I can't remember the name of it now. What was it?
Edge Opens.
That was so bad.
No, Series 6 was Wedding River Song, but Series 5 was Opens Big Bang.
Series 7 had Time the Doctor.
Or
Name of the Doctor. I suppose Name of the Doctor.
Oh, no. Series 7 had, well, that was a Christmas special. Series 7 had Name of the Doctor with the Great Intelligence.
Yeah.
That was good. Had John Hurt. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a decent one. That's the only good one he's done. Because Series 8, the first episode good, the second one, garbage. And then Series 9, Heaven Sent.
Hellbent.
Amazing. Hellbent. That's just a joke.
Yeah, Joe wasn't a big fan. You weren't a big fan of John Hurt, the War Doctor, right?
No, I'm a big fan of John Hurt, but I'm not a big fan that he was the Doctor, because I didn't like this whole Moffat contradicts. You know what it is? If you're going to do a big storyline like that, you got to know what your writers are writing. And when Neil Gaiman announces for the dialogue for Matt Smith and Nightmare and Silver that there is one more, he has regeneration energy, he can regenerate, and the Mr. Clever, who's the cyber leader, whatever, is looking in his mind, seeing he's telling the truth and saying, oh yes, you could regenerate and wipe us out, then how does Moffat contradict that? You know, and say there's no more regeneration energy left. I mean, this is what I don't like. And because the major problem I have is that before this happened, Moffat actually thought he was going to change history and make it that the Ninth Doctor was going to be the one to push the button because he did not want the Eighth Doctor to do it. They didn't choose that Doctor. He was mad about it. Even when they had to revisit it and he kept talking about all the Doctors, he did not like that the Eighth Doctor had all this glory about being in the Time World. So he was always going to change it. And all his friends turned on him. They were pissed. even Russell T Davis was pissed at him that he was changing things, and he was going to originally, Christopher Eccleston was going to do it. Then when he found out that the script was that his doctor, which just regenerated in Rose, and looked at his face, a new face, he was going to change all that and say that, no, he did all this. That was wrong. So he left the project. They got John hurt. And I have a problem with that because I feel that don't go against continuity. Don't change things because you want to be cool with stuff. It's got to make sense and it's got to flow normally. You can't have the doctor contradict himself. You know, how does he have regeneration energy to heal River's hands in Angels Take Manhattan if he doesn't have regeneration energy? You got to explain these things. You can't just, if you're going to be a showrunner, you got to be able to know what you saw. You have to see every episode and you know that, this happened in here and this happened in here. And you can't copy it. You can't change it. You create a villain. You keep to the villain's rules. Weeping Angels, they're walking around Manhattan and nobody's doing it.
Using the energy in Angels to Mike Adson just lowered his lifespan of that life.
It's just like the Doctor's name. The Doctor's name can't be Doctor Who because the great intelligence was saying, "What is your name, Doctor Who?" And the TARDIS never opened up.
And he mentions incarnations of the Doctor, like the Valyard, the Beast, which I don't know who the Beast is. It hasn't appeared yet. That Doctor. And I thought it was going to be Capaldi. Capaldi's definitely not the Beast.
No, you know? What if the Beast was in reference to Hertz Doctor? You know?
No. It was the Beast is a brand new Doctor we've never seen yet.
Well, I mean, Capaldi certainly started acting like that in what I consider his best episode of Deep Breath. Yeah, I mean, that Doctor could have been the Beast. That Doctor could have turned into the Valyard, but I don't know what happened to him.
Definitely Into the Dalek, where he doesn't give a damn when somebody dies.
But that was also Knock Knock. Knock Knock, he's like, is Bill okay? I mean, while the ladies dying outside, these ones dying. Where's Bill? Is Bill all right?
That's like the walls.
The kid's dying in thin ice.
Oh, yeah. He didn't really give a damn there. Yeah, I remember that.
Wants to
a good explanation for that.
But they can be explained, though. They can be explained. The Peter Capaldi Doctor is the most alien Doctor.
Well, they also explained it for nice that he doesn't waste his energy on the dead. He wastes the energy on saving the living.
The person was still alive. Was in the water.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like, come on. David Tennant leaped at that kid and grabbed him out of the, So.
I suppose he knew that he would have died too if he did that.
Well, could he not have stepped in front of the blast that killed Bill in the last episode?
He would have regenerated.
He was close enough to her. He could have just.
Yeah, but I mean, but he wouldn't be dead.
Or he could have just opened the TARDIS and been like, "Look in here. This is a spaceship. We can."
But I thought that's what he was doing. I thought that he was walking towards her to go in front of her. That's what I thought.
The guy was really dumb.
He was on the side of the gun. He wasn't in front of the gun.
But it seemed to me like he was getting closer to Bill, though. And then it was like.
He's probably trying to inch over to maybe grab her out of the way, but I mean, the guy got nervous and he, blasted her.
Well, we've seen the Doctor step in front of his companion and kind of have his hands out like in a surrender thing and go, like, let's hold up. There's no need for this right now. I mean, Peter Davison even did that.
Yeah.
And I thought Nardole, like, he was saying, I've got permission to kick the Doctor's ass. Like, so that implies to me that he's probably got some sort of, tactical combat training or something.
Well, couldn't tell
why couldn't he disarm the guy? Like what?
Yeah, why couldn't Nardole have stepped in front? If it's pretty much he's only the natural problem is his head. So if he got hit in the chest, big whoop-de-doo.
Something we haven't talked about though. It was nice to see the throwback to John Pertwee with the
Venusian,
that Venusian clip.
Yeah, the Venusian Nikita.
Yeah, I agree. That was great.
Doctor said
I haven't been
earlier.
I've been watching some of old John Pertwee stories again. Stories what not many people remember, like Colony in Space and The Mutant, things like that. They're not really known episodes, right? Nobody talks about them. So I think John Pertwee's run the gold
last night.
What, Scott?
I said the Planet of Spiders, which I caught last night.
Yeah. I'm not
my take on
it's okay.
Right here, though, guys. Here's my take on Stephen Moffat. He has a good beginning, a good middle, but he just tanks on the ends.
Oh, he always screws up the two-parter.
Yeah.
He always screws up the last part. Always.
Yep.
Yeah, because he put too much.
Day.
He drags on the first episode too much, which is always good. There's a lot of context, and then the last episode he rushes. He misses out plot points.
Now, before I saw the trailers for The Doctor Falls, I really thought the Masters were going to team up against the Doctor or team up with the Cybermen against the Doctor. And then we're seeing this trailer where they're like all the sonic screwdrivers, or Sonic King umbrella, and Sonic and laser screwdriver. They're all pointed at the Cybermen. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, why are they teaming up? I thought the Master, as that Razor character, was helping the Cybermen or helping people get converted. So now, why would they turn on him?
Well, there's that clip where John Sim is yelling at Missy, saying, "I would never team up with helping the Doctor."
Yeah, we never stand with the Doctor.
Yeah.
So why is that the case? I don't understand.
Yeah, the Master could have been there for various reasons. You remember, the Time Lords can have perception filters. He could have just been hiding in plain sight of the Seven. He's not on their side. There's no evidence that he's,
I mean, I thought he was just using him for a ride. That's what I thought. Because
yeah, I mean, what would be the motivation for Sim? Forget Missy. That's a whole other thing we could discuss too. But what is Sim's motivation? Because obviously Sim has put everyone in this jeopardy right now. Why all of a sudden is he working with them to fight the Cybermen? I mean, he's the one that put them in this situation, right?
I mean, I would think. Yeah,
He tried to kill the first Doctor.
Helped create the Cybermen.
Well, we talked.
He didn't create the Cybermen. He was just there giving them people, but he didn't alter the technology. He didn't create the technology. They had that technology. He was just trying to be like a minion.
Maybe he was waiting for them to upgrade finally, and then he was going to make his move and take over or something.
Yeah, but notice Sim was not surprised that the Doctor was there, even though he's never seen Capaldi that we know of.
We showed a TARDIS on the monitor.
And he knew that, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, even with Missy, he was like, well, it took me a while to figure out who you really were, all this kind of shit. So there's some, like, it seems like, and maybe we're just digging too much, because it is, like James said, a Moffat story, so Moffat builds up stuff and throws shit out there, and it just never gets reconciled for the most part. I don't know what, unless it's just sloppy storytelling or sloppy writing, just creating red herrings and creating situations that they can, like, come up with a Deus Ex Machina sort of solution to at the last second to end the episode, then it seems like there's a lot of buildup. There's a lot of needless muddying of the water, story concept-wise, just to, like, kind of, for Moffat to try and throw fan wank into for no reason, and it never really gets explained. And it's like, wow, we're gonna toss him a bone and have a multi-master story, but it's not gonna make sense what the Master's motivation is, what all of this interaction is between the Master and Missy, and what his ultimate goal is. What is the Master trying to accomplish here?
Well, from the episode, he's worried about his future.
I mean, unfortunately, just like all Moffat's episodes, nothing's going to be explained, and then his legacy is going to be crap.
Well,
he never explained anything.
In fairness, in the classic series, the Master did show up quite a bit without explanation, and that was part of the whole charm of.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Colony in space, like Colony in space, the amount of coincidences to make the Master be in the first place the Doctor, travels because of the Time Lords. There's no chance of him being there, but he's there. Oh, I'm on this planet. You just happened to arrive on, Doctor. Hello. That's what it always was in the classic series. He just appeared.
Why is the Doctor? I mean, okay. I mean, if anyone who has any passing knowledge of the franchise whatsoever, which we all do, the main question is the Doctor really that easily played? Unless he's playing a long con to Missy's long con, why would he allow Missy to have access to the TARDIS? Unless he was testing her for some reason or knew she was going to do something that was going to ultimately pay off somehow in the long run. Because that makes no sense. Why this character, he would allow her to have such access.
It would make sense if Moffat is just not happy with Capaldi and he's just making it where his Doctor is terrible.
But would he be that spiteful?
Well, I don't. You know what? Not for nothing. Wasn't he a little spiteful with Jenna Louise Coleman that he was pissed that she left. So he made it that she killed Danny Pink by calling him. And they kind of changed Clara's character around where she sucked and she was doing all these mistakes. And then all of a sudden when he brought her back, she sucked even worse.
Didn't she get signed on before Smith or somebody?
She did. He wanted her before Smith, which means that they gave Smith a crappy raise to stay. So it's his own fault.
So it's his own fault. Do you think that Coleman was maybe being a bit diva-ish behind the scenes and he just kind of got a little tired of the attitude?
But he didn't have to say she can come back. See, that's the whole point. He had the power to say no.
Yeah, but the other thing is he made her such an important character. Do you think maybe he was a little spiteful that he made her so important and then it kind of got to her head maybe as an actress?
He was spiteful because she wanted to come back. He had to rip up 6 scripts, and he could have said no, but Capaldi was so adamant that he wanted Jenna Louise Coleman back that he was in a position politically where he couldn't do anything and he had to bring her back, but he didn't write her properly. He didn't write her properly.
I'd like to ask James and Jimmy.
Sure.
We talked about this on the cast, and obviously they've been away for a little while. Do you think Capaldi legit just stepped away from the series, or do you think he was forced out?
I think he was forced out because of the fangirls. So they want a younger doctor, like they had with David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus.
So BBC forced him out, you're saying?
Yeah, they were seeing too much gray and everything. Of course, the little fangirls go, "Oh, this guy reminds me too much of my father and my grandfather. I can't squeeze myself."
Yeah, because literally within like a week or two, we had where they were even talking to Capaldi. He was like, "I would love to play the doctor as long as they'll have me." And then all of a sudden, within a matter of a week or two, he's like, I even read today, I reread the article just to kind of reset my bearings on what I thought about my opinion on the topic. But he was saying, when you feel like you can't contribute what you believe you really can to the part, then maybe it's time to step away. And that sounds more like a nice way of saying, hey, it's not you, it's me. It's just not working out. And he's just trying to be the bigger man by kind of walking away from it.
Yeah, I think it was probably forced out, but I also think that it didn't go very far. You know how you probably some people would hold the fort down a bit longer, maybe Colin Baker would have. But it's I think as soon as the BBC suggested, hey, maybe it should go, he immediately did it because he doesn't want conflicts.
Where
He's
do you
not
think,
the type of guy for conflict.
Oh, so who's gonna be the next doctor then?
You know, like a sudden switch from I play it as long as I want to. It's gotten to where how many times can I save the world? And I thought, well, Tom Baker did it for like 8 years. John Pertwee did it for about 6 years. Why couldn't you do it a bit longer? Are you saying that they're better at it than you are?
No, but don't you think the BBC
probably the whole notion of BBC.
Yeah, I think that's what the real story is. The powers that be wanted a younger doctor because the fangirls want the younger doctor.
Yeah, but don't forget also, Jimmy, that he wasn't doing anything for a year. They had Husbands of River Song, then Nothingness, then the Doctor Mysterio. So he's not really getting roles because he was healing up from surgery. And then we hear that Chibnall wanted to take off. So it's like, well, how many years is he going to just sit there as a doctor and not be the doctor? You know, why can't they just do it every year? So that influences the decision.
Yeah, I
as well.
don't know why they did that break last year because they've learned their lessons from splitting Series 7.
Now we hear that after the Christmas episode, we probably won't have Doctor Who until August again.
Yeah. Yeah. Which means a lot of people are going to be out of their jobs.
Yep.
By that time, who'd even remember the series is on the air,
Yeah, you lose viewers. Series 7 is the great example of how not to do Doctor Who with the big breaks, and I can't believe they made the same mistake again.
But it wasn't just Series 7. Series 6 was split.
Well,
yeah, but Series 6 wasn't split in such a bizarre, we're going to make you wait forever way.
But people lost their jobs on the Moffat, that they had to shut down special effects factories.
This is where it gets into the contrast between, I could see David Tennant if he were in the situation with Capaldi, I would see him probably walking. I think because of the fact that Tennant got along so well with Davies, and he respected the crew and the fact of going on, that he was okay with doing those movies that 1 year or whatever. And I think Capaldi.
Yeah.
I think
Capaldi
Capaldi
do more specials like they did with Tennant. Capaldi would love to have stayed if they.
I think Capaldi cares about his craft.
Animation like they did with Tennant.
Hold on,
Capaldi would have stayed, but they didn't want to do that because the young fangirls was not looking at Capaldi as a sex symbol. They were looking at him as their father or grandfather or uncle.
I think when Capaldi came on, he had the best intentions with things. I think he really is the bigger man in this situation with what's going on. And I think that he's gotten, with Moffat even leaving, I think he's just kind of seen enough with the way things go on behind the scenes. And I think that he's probably gotten a little bit frustrated with, like Jimmy pointed out earlier, that Moffat seems to be more focused in on Sherlock, or has been for like a matter of years.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that
Moffat's working on Dracula.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just think that Capaldi's like, I think he's a gentleman, and I could be way off with all this, but I'm just saying this is the way it comes off to be, at least. I think that Capaldi's just being the bigger man, being a gentleman about things, and he's seeing, well, Moffat's leaving, everyone's leaving, so it's an easy way, it's an easy out for me just to say all of a sudden, okay, well, this is my easy out, I'm going to go ahead and take it now and go ahead and get out, because he realizes that the merchandising, I think, is affected more than anything, because, you had like a young doctor with Tennant, you had a younger doctor with Smith, and with Capaldi, I think that he's just kind of gotten a little bit world weary about the fact that these people the bean counters are more worried about the merchandising, what's going on, than the actual material and the quality of the writing of the show.
The writing's bad.
Because when people say things, it's kind of like even if someone's being a gentleman, they can put something honestly in a gentlemanly way that still tells you all. And when he says, like, when you feel like you're not putting forth your best effort, is what he said. And I'll ask you, do you think that's because of him or because of the writing? Because he made that statement. He said, when you don't feel like you're putting out your best effort, if he's complaining about that, if he's complaining about that as an actor, he'd be the first one to correct whatever's going on with him, because he's serious about playing the role. So it's what he's forced to have to deal with. He's just not liking the shit that's being shoveled at him.
Like the same reason Eccleston left then.
Yeah.
People who say these are conspiracy theories, for example, that we think that this happened to Capaldi, I would just say that the BBC have a notorious history with Doctor Who and other shows of making people out. Colin Baker, the show being cancelled in 1989, and various other times with breaks. So, and the same old guard, who were in the BBC at the time, still kind of run things.
Right.
So they are still complete assholes.
It's a little ironic, too, that they brought Rona Munro back, who wrote Survival, which was the last episode of the classic series. And didn't she write she wrote one of the stories recently, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden, like, it's kind of like, is this kind of history repeating itself in a weird karmic sort of way?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and that last story was Sylvester McCoy's doctor.
Well, the difference this time is that it can't die, Doctor Who, because we are in the digital age of Netflix and Amazon. So even if the BBC mess up, they still make a lot of merchandise. Or Amazon or Netflix, I'm genuinely serious, if they cancelled it, they would offer him a lot of money to take them.
It's definitely not going to end, because they would have to give all those millions of dollars back to China that they want up to Series 15. So, for the first time ever, Doctor Who's future is being influenced by outside parties that have a lot of money to spend.
Well, if it did end, because they made all these commitments, they would have to sell the show to somebody else. So in a weird way, it would be good.
No, they're not going to end it, because then again, they have a deal with China. They have a deal with China. They're not going to give it back to them. So they're going to make every year. Now, that's not to say that the series has to be 14 episodes or 13 episodes. They can make 6, or they can decide not to. So we don't know what should go.
Well, the BBC make the majority of their money from the license fee. And in the UK, the license fee is incredibly easy to avoid. All you have to do is not watch live TV, which in this day and age is incredibly easy. or you don't use the BBC iPlayer, so the replay app for BBC programs, right? That's what I do, and that's what various other people do. And because of this, the revenue for the BBC goes down and down and down, and the only thing they get money from is their sales of shows like to BBC America, right? Things like that, and to other territories like Australia, China, etc. So what I'm basically saying is, if they lose Doctor Who, that's really financially bad for them. They can't afford to, because they lost Top Gear, because Top Gear is garbage now. Nobody watches that.
Nope.
So really can't
fired old boy.
No, the Doctor regenerates. The next actor is Asian. And the next 5 years, it's all in Chinese.
I was about to say something like, what if money coming from China? I think they'll have a lot of influence on what the stories are going to be. So in other words, they can't.
No, they're not going to. They don't want to have influence over the stories. They just want to see more of Doctor Who.
Well, don't be surprised on that point, though. Don't be surprised if there's like maybe a major Chinese actor or talent in the show because of that. Because that's look at what happens with Hollywood movies now. They throw in an actor and actress from China, and the movie does phenomenal over there because everybody goes over to see it. So they could have a major story in China or have a major Chinese talent.
Played by an Asian woman.
Or an Asian
Stephen Young plays Glenn from Walking Dead.
Companion. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
It's kind of funny how China came into the picture, kind of for no reason.
Well, China's becoming, it's not capitalist yet, but it's getting towards there, with there's a lot of rich people there now, and people are getting more wealthy. And it's a big country anyway.
Yeah.
So, can you find any more classic Doctor Who missing tapes or anything?
We'll have to find out from China in about a month.
Don't get
buddy.
Come on, Mr. Ben.
Don't mention the missing episodes.
I wonder if Mr. Ben had anything to do with that little Doctor Who deal there all of a sudden. Who knows? Let's find out.
What do you all think before we go? Are we all upset or happy that Missy's going, if she is going?
I wish she'd stay. She's done as good of a job as Roger Delgado.
As the script allows, yeah.
I kind of am of the mind that if Capaldi goes, she goes. Like, every Doctor should have their own master, but they could always have a thing where an old master could pop in somewhere because it's out of time and sync. But I kind of want her to go if Capaldi's going, because I kind of relate to the era with her.
Because that's the way it was with
Michelle Gomez. I got bored of them pretty fast. Like, I did like them initially. I liked Johnson when he appeared initially. I hated him in End of Time. I liked Missy when she appeared initially, and I especially liked in Series 9. I did like this series, but I'm getting bored of her, which is weird because Anthony Ainley, I never got bored of him.
It appeared like she always wanted to be good or to be with the Doctor on his side since when she popped in, because she could have just destroyed the Earth with the Cybermen.
The good thing about James said he liked Anthony Ainley.
Yeah.
The good thing about Ainley's master was he was a multi-doctor master. He wasn't just like Pertwee with Delgado or whatever. Yeah. So it was kind of a continuation thing where you had a new Doctor, but it kind of grounded the series in a franchise sort of way where you have like, he's back, and you recognize who it is.
And he wouldn't appear that often too. He would appear just occasionally.
Yeah.
And what was so great about it is that you never knew it was going to be a master episode, because they even commented about it like several of the books is whenever they did the episode, they always scrambled Ainley's name.
You can only really have 3 types of masters. You can have the Delgado type, which appears all the time. That's Missy. She's been appearing a lot. So basically as frequently as Delgado, maybe not as frequently. The one-off, like the one in the Utopia, Derek Jacobi, or possibly you could have the Anthony Ainley type, which is my preferred, because to be honest, even though I love Michelle Gomez, I'm getting bored of her. And I want something new. And I don't want the Master to appear every season anymore, because it's becoming like the Daleks.
Yeah, because it was cool seeing, like, Ainley play off of Tom Baker, especially, like, going from Keeper of Traken to Legopolis to Castrovalva, to playing off against a totally different Doctor, but being the same, vile asshole that the Master was against a new Doctor. That was cool. And then you saw him with Colin Baker, and Colin Baker's, he's more the brash sort of egotist sort. So he was able to throw it back to the master, and like Davison was more like the wholesome boy next door type, and then you got Baker like throwing stuff back to the master, like clowning on him and stuff. And then you got Sylvester McCoy, who was trying to be kind of dark with him and kind of play him and stuff. That's why I think it's cool to see the same master with different doctors.
I remember when Mark of the Ronnie, when it was the master, the doctor, Colin Baker, and the Ronnie. And there was like a scene where he almost punched the master in the face. He's like, it's like a thing where he almost punched him. I'm like,
and the Ronnie's like, oh, would you two please shut up?
I thought he was going to actually deck him. I'm like, this is like the coolest thing, like the way they played off each other. That was really cool. But,
I agree, Mike, though. Not just appear occasionally, not as frequently. The rarer it is, the better it is, really. And Misty, as great as she is, she's become way too saturated. Appears way too.
I just think that the master needs to be Charles Dance, older, and the doctor needs to be younger.
Charles Dance would be amazing.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen, though.
Nope.
I think he should be the next one.
Far too expensive. They would never pay it.
I think he should be the next one, because what is he doing? I mean, Game of Thrones thing's over. I know he's in a lot of roles, but I think they should grab him.
One of the, he's just fantastic. One of the best actors of our time, really, because he is so versatile. What he could do, he could play good, bad, evil, funny. He would be the perfect master. But would the BBC pay his price tag? No, never.
I'm surprised we never got Patrick Stewart even for a one-off, like just as a villain, not master or anything. Just Patrick Stewart just appearing, because that's the only thing.
I think the show would be a lot better.
I thought Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
What's that, James?
I think he would have made a good wrestle-on.
Oh yeah.
It's funny how Moffat saw Timothy Dalton and Billy Piper and Penny Dreadful, which have all the kind of Universal monsters or whatever monsters just in Penny Dreadful, and then he does his own Moffat verse with Dracula, writing the script for Jekyll, for the movies, and may just throw all the stuff into it,
That's craziness.
And we talked about Dracula before Moffat got Dracula. We said how cool it would be if Capaldi was in a Dracula movie or something. And
well, the big fail this season on their end, we discussed this a number of weeks back, but it would have been great with the Monk trilogy if they had Sutek instead of the Truth Monks.
Yes.
And the reason to bring Sutek back.
Yeah.
With the whole pyramid thing, and they could have had the Truth Monks kind of be like the mummies that they had in Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like Tom Baker.
Like security guards, in a sense.
He won't bring anybody back. He doesn't want to spend the money to redesign the Draconians or anybody. It's like, to get the Ice Warriors, he never really updated the Ice Warriors like he was gonna anyway. Like, it's like they just don't want to spend the money. It's like, we can have the Daleks, but they can't shoot more than 2 times. That's special effects. It's like, come on. So we're going to have the Puddle Monster just absorb the Dalek and defeat him. That's just like, oh, come on. Yeah. That's like...
I think that's Moffat. I honestly think that was on Moffat's side.
I mean, maybe he put all the money in the Christmas special. We don't even know what the hell that's going to be. So, all right, guys. I'm going to have to go because I do have to start my new job in 3 hours. So
yeah, and I got to work in 3 hours myself, so I feel.
So it's been an honor to see you again, Jimmy.
Nice to be back.
You're always welcome. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Thank you, Chris, Mike D.
We'll all be back Saturday for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm off work too, so that's.
Is Dr. Falls or is it Moffat Falls? I'm not sure. We'll find out if whoever the episode rolls.
Make sure you contact me ahead of time. I may be in Mike D. Manor's pool over here. The show.
No problem. You got it. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
All right.
We're on the 7th.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys. Good night.